Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel Third Eye Media. So this is all about March 26th current affairs. So let's begin with first topic itself. The UNSC calls for ceasefire in Gaza during Ramzan. The Security Council passes resolution 14-0 after the US abstains from voting. Netanyahu cancels high-level delegation's Washington visit, accuses the US of retreating from a principled position. The United Nations Security Council on Monday issued its first demand to halt the fighting in Gaza, calling for a ceasefire during the Muslim holy month of Ramzan in a vote that drew an immediate protest from the Israeli Prime Minister. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. So, Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu cancelled a planned visit to Washington by a high-level delegation and accused the US of retreating from a principled position by allowing the vote to pass without conditioning the ceasefire on the release of hostages held by Hamas. So, Israel Prime Minister, they are not telling the Israel is not claiming that the vote should not be passed, but it's telling that you should also mention that condition. You should also support a condition called that they should in turn release the hostages held by Hamas. So this condition was not mentioned anywhere. That's why Israel Prime Minister felt very bad and he actually cancelled that delegation. Next, EU launches probe against tech giants under new law. The European Union on Monday launched probes into whether Apple, Alphabet and Meta violated new law, the Digital Markets Act, in what is the latest instance of governments trying to exercise greater control over the functioning of big tech companies. The companies could be fined up to 10% of the 10% of their global revenues and 20% for repeat infringements of the DMA. The probes will examine whether the companies violated the Digital Markets Act. If found so, they could be fined up to 10% of their global revenue. The investigations, which are likely to conclude in a year, will also look at issues around user choice, stifting competition, use of targeted advertisement, etc. Next, High Court to hear plea on curbing destruction of Golconda Fort. A spider web of 1600 mm pipelines have been laid under the edge of the Shahatim Talab or lake on the western side of Golconda Fort. Away from the two main entrances of Bhanjari Darwaja and Makka Darwaja, the lake is not part of the tourist itinerary but is key to the geological stability of the medieval fortress. Nearly 4 years after a news report in these columns, the Telangana High Court is set to hear a petition to protect the fort from further destruction on March 26. The JHMC had made an interlocutory application that it will lay a pipeline around the Golconda Fort. How the JHMC will execute the project without affecting the fort's structural stability is the big question now. So let's hope that this particular pipelines are not going to destroy the medieval artifact, medieval construction of Golconda Fort. Next, Congress leverages Telangana, Karnataka as electoral models. So it's all about what you call as election campaigning itself. I'm just going to discuss about the manifestos. So remember one thing, whenever you're going to vote for a particular party or organization, please definitely read their manifestos and then go and vote. Party has formulated an extensive manifesto named Panch Nyay, that is something about 5 justice, tailored to resonate with key voter demographics including women, farmers and youth. The Mahalakshmi scheme, aimed at empowering women, has received widespread acclaim and serves as a cornerstone of Congress electoral strategy. The SC and ST sub-plan and forest land rights for tribal communities, permanent farmers loan waiver commission and expedite insurance compensation for crop losses, and also stands in extending the employment guarantee scheme to urban areas. Till now, MGNREGA is only implemented to rural areas. Now, they are also planning to extend it to urban areas. Next, 3 including minor booked under POCSO and NDPS acts. So, just understand what is this acts all about. 3 people including a juvenile. So, we are also having an act called as Juvenile Justice Act. Go and refer that too also. We are booked under the POCSO Act, that is protection of children from Sexual Offences Act by the Jagityal Town Police on Monday for allegedly sexually assaulting a minor girl multiple times at different places over the past couple of months. The police also booked the accused under Section 29 of the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act following seizure of dry ganja from their possession, producing him before the Juvenile Justice Board as per the provisions of the JJ Act. Next, JJ Act nothing but your Juvenile Justice Act. Ukrainian minister invokes Gandhi for Indian backing. The Hindu had reported about the Ukrainian foreign minister's plan to visit New Delhi, which comes as India has been invited to participate in a peace conference in Switzerland that will attempt a new initiative to end the war in Ukraine. Next, alcohol warning in Hindi foreign films on the rise. Increased use of such warnings is a recent development. Anti-tobacco watermark is mandatory since 2012. Some states have laws to ensure that regional films carry anti-liquor disclaimers. In recent weeks, the Central Board of Film Certification has started requiring an increasing number of Hindi and foreign films to display anti-liquor watermarks for films that feature alcohol consumption. The Hindu has found, based on a review of cut list of recent films issued by the Censor Board. For instance, All of Us Strangers, a British film that extensively features alcohol abuse, has a warning on screen for a significant duration of the film. Next Goal Wins, a Hollywood film directed by Taika Waititi, released in India last month, had the watermarks applied in liquor consumption scenes. Faak, a Hindi film directed by Anis Barudwale, also had the requirement applied to its film in February. The horror film Late Night with the Devil also had the disclaimer applied this month. Tobacco warnings are typically applied in Indian cinemas for all films where nicotine consumption depicted. This requirement was introduced by the Health and Family Welfare Ministry through the Cigarettes and Other Tobacco Products Prohibition and Advertisement and Regulation of Trade and Commerce Production, Supply and Distribution Amendment Rules 2012, which requires watermark warnings on scenes depicting nicotine consumption. For instance, Kerala's Abkari Act has a jail penalty for films that do not display this warning, though this was proposed to be decriminalized and changed to a 4,50,000 fine through an amendment passed by the State Assembly last year. The legal authority for sanctioning films is with the Union Government under the Constitution's 7th Schedule, and this power has been assigned to the Information and Broadcasting Ministry under the Location of Business Rules. However, the CBFC and an autonomous body under the I&B Ministry has largely respected and enforced state laws and health ministry rules on warnings during smoking and liquor consumption scenes in films. The requirement has been applied occasionally before, such as in 2014 when the film Happy New Year was required by the CBFC to include such a warning in order for the film to receive U rating. Then CBFC chairperson Leela Sampson had said that year that the U rating, as opposed to the more mature under adult and A ratings, is the reason that watermarks were applied to this film. The IMB Ministry in 1991 issued a notification that said that as a matter of principle, the Censor Board would ensure that scenes which have the effect of justifying or glorifying drinking are not shown. Next, Arunachal Pradesh has always been part of China. Linjian. China on Monday continued. So there is a lot of turmoil with this China. China is not only trying to extend its territorial integrity over South China Sea, but also trying to claim Arunachal Pradesh as its own territory. China on Monday continued to claim that Arunachal Pradesh is part of its territory, notwithstanding India dismissing Beijing's claim as absurd and ludicrous. He was reacting to Jaishankar's remark, terming China's repeated claims on the state ludicrous. Jiangnan, China's official name of Arunachal Pradesh, was always part of China before it was illegally occupied by India, he claimed. China has all along had an effective administration over the region, he said. This is all about by Lin Jian, he was telling these things. Claiming that it is an indisputable fact, he said, India has established the so-called Arunachal Pradesh in 1987 on the illegally occupied territory. So actually China illegally occupied this territory, and we have actually claimed it as Arunachal Pradesh and declared it as Arunachal Pradesh in 1987. This is the fourth time this month that China has spoken about its claim over Arunachal Pradesh. Next, Jaishankar discusses bilateral ties with Singapore PM and senior ministers. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar on Monday called on Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishnan and other senior ministers and discussed phase 2 further the strategic bilateral ties and the situation in Indo-Pacific and West Asia regions. Mr. Jaishankar is on a 3-day visit to Singapore from Saturday. He met investors on Saturday and addressed the Indian diaspora on Sunday. Mr. Jaishankar will also visit the Philippines and Malaysia. The March 23rd to 27th visits will focus on enhancing bilateral relations with the three countries and would provide an opportunity for engagement on regional issues of mutual concern, the External Ministry said. Next, Google billing. Startups said to challenge CCI order. Startups are set to challenge the Competition Commission of India recent order denying them interim relief during the pendency of the plea challenging Google's Play Store payment policies. The appeals are likely to be filed before the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal in the next few days, sources said. CCI had then held the tech giant's user choice billing payments policy was prima facie violative of the Competition Act 2022. Shadi.com, Kuku FM, and Indian Broadcasting and Digital Foundation and Indian Digital Media Industry Foundation had urged the Commission to restrain Google from collecting any fee for transactions involving paid downloads or in-app purchases on apps offering services. So that's all for this day. So I hope you guys subscribe this channel, and I hope you don't forget to share this to people as much as possible. That's all for the day. Hope you guys are enjoying. Thank you.